am Sue Webley. Welcome to another episode of Inspire. Hey y'all. Hey, oh my gosh. I am so excited to be back this month with Inspire. I missed y'all. I know we were off for March. But since we need to take a break, okay? But I'm so excited to be back with you. And as you are coming in, I see some of you coming in on Instagram. If you're here with us from Facebook, if you're here with us from LinkedIn or YouTube, I want you to begin shouting yourselves out. So if you've just joined us, you don't know who I am, what this is about. I am Sue A. Webley. I am your host. I'm an author, producer, and award-winning minister and the founder of Kara Solutions, a digital service agency that helps individuals and organizations navigate the virtual space with confidence. And I believe in the power of words, wisdom, and witness. And that's exactly what Inspire is all about. It is a live interview style broadcast on a mission to encourage, empower, and embolden individuals to create change in their lives, their communities, and in the world. And as our guests, as our entrepreneurs, our influencers, our creatives, and thought leaders share their testimonies, tips, and tools with us, we hope that you who are watching right now, you who will catch this in the replay, are inspired to elevate your mindset, to pursue your dreams, and to do, as the late Dr. Katie Geneva Cannon put it so eloquently, the work your soul must have. Again, we are live on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, and that's all the places we are live. I want you to do me a favor and connect, follow, like, and subscribe. So I'm for the time that I'm still on Facebook and Instagram, I want you to follow us on Inspire with CW on Facebook and Instagram. If you have followed on Kara Solutions, I want you to follow us there. But I want you to head over to our website as well at www.getinspired.live, www.getinspired.live. You can find out all about the show. You can find out a little bit more about me and watch all of our previous episodes. You can do all of that right on the website. You could also subscribe to our newsletter. We don't want you to miss anything that's happening. And so we invite you to subscribe to us and be with us as we continue to inspire all the people. So this month, we are celebrating Black Women's History Month. We're celebrating Black Women's History Month. It is a time for us as Black women to uplift each other. Yeah, we should do that all the time, but we're centering on that this month, uplifting the voices, the victories, and the visions of Black women, past, present, and in the future. This year's theme, and I'm going to introduce my special guest co-host in just a minute, but this year's theme is continuing the fight for equity, knowing our worth, and trusting our God. Continuing the fight for equity, knowing our worth, and trusting our God. I need us to sit with that and let that marinate for just a minute. We Black women. We have always led the way, right? We've led the way with grace and strength and a faith that sometimes defies logic. We have carried the weight, right? We've spoken truth in rooms that tried to silence us, and still we rise. And many of us are tired, right? The 92% especially, we're tired. We want to sit down. We don't want to shoulder the weight anymore, right? We want somebody else, let somebody else do it. But for the entire month of April, we're bringing you powerful conversations with Black women who are changing the game, building legacy, and living out loud. And I cannot think of a better person to have to be my co-host this month to help inspire, celebrate Black Women's History Month than Sha Battle, the visionary who literally created Black Women's History Month, right? She is the founder of Black History Month. She is an author, a cultural curator, and a fierce advocate for Black women's voices. And her work is all about storytelling, preservation, and elevation. So please help me welcome to the stage my co-host for this month, Sha Battle. Hey Sha, how are you?
Hello. Hi, I'm fine. I'm fine. How are you?
I am well. I'm excited that we're kicking off this month. And you are the founder of Black Women's History Month. And we had a conversation last year. I had you on Inspire last year, and you told us all about the wonderful work that you are doing. The theme this year, I mentioned the theme this year. Can you tell us a little bit, before we go deeper into our conversation, can you tell us a little bit about the theme and why you chose this particular theme for this year's Black Women's History Month?
Well, first of all, I usually meditate and I let the words come to me. I don't, like pick something and just out of the blue. I really literally just meditate and let it come to me. And it comes to me freely and quietly. And so I really, really like this one, as with the last one too. But I really like this one because it my focus is on God. God moves it all, and so that's where the last part comes in. Continuing our equity, we are continuing to use our voices. We're continuing our fight for equality. We're continuing our struggle for equity, if you will, and um, knowing our worth. We are worthy. We are worthy for everything we get that is good. And
Mhm.
we should embrace it, accept it, and let that fuel our energy day to day. So that's basically in a nutshell where it came from and why and what
Yes.
it's about.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that with us. And for those that may not have caught you last year, can you tell us a little bit about the work that you're doing through Black Women's History Month?
Well, basically, I'll tell you how I founded it. There again, it came to me, and I have another organization called Black Women in Jazz and the Arts, and what it does is celebrates Black women who are in jazz music in any capacity, and the arts. And the arts is any kind of arts, really. It's movies. It's not only music, but all kind of music and movies and political and just all the arts. And so what we do, and what I do is have annual um, award shows and award women based on, what they've done. And I do this annually. And so I was looking for people to celebrate, and I kept coming across all these awesome things that women have done, Black women have done. And I said, well, wait a minute now, because I know that we have Black History Month, and I am so happy about that. Don't get me wrong. But what I noticed was that oftentimes, not all the time, but oftentimes, more often than not, they will say 5, 10, or 15 women to celebrate during Black History Month. And then I said, that's not enough. And then we pivot and we go to Women's History Month. Well, pretty much the same thing. 5, 10, or 15 women, Black women, to celebrate during Black Women's History. I mean, during Women's History Month. And I said, oh no, we have done some incredible things here. Black women are incredible. I mean, we are the reason why this America stands as it does. And I said, no, we need our own month. We need our own month where we don't have any barriers put upon us to have 5, 10, or 15 women to celebrate. We don't need to pick 5, 10, or 15 women to celebrate. We need to celebrate who we want to celebrate and how many we want to celebrate for the entire month. And really, honestly, we can take the whole year, 365 and 366 days of the year, if they gave them to us, but they didn't give them to us, so we only settle for 30.
We're
But
not selling for 30. I'm gonna tell you that right now. We're not selling for 30 days. We're gonna take the whole year. We are taking the whole year.
Right. Take the whole year.
Yes.
The whole year plus. And so this is basically what I said, and I thought somebody else had been doing it. And I started researching and I realized that it had not been done. And the old adage says that if you see something that needs to be done and you see it and you recognize it and you want to see it done, then you do it. It's for you to do. And so I said, okay, Lord, apparently this must be for something for me to do. And then that's when I created Black Women's History Month. And then I said, you know what? This is for every Black woman. If you got a drop of Black blood in your body, this is for you. And it spans all the way to then I added International Black Women's History Month to cover the world. So that's basically in a nutshell how it came about.
Thank you for sharing that with us. And I see all of you coming in. Do me a great big favor and share this out. I see you, Shanti Love. Good morning, Royce Morton. Quita Love, thank you for joining us. Bishop Bonnie Radden. Those of you who are joining us on Instagram, all of you, thank you so much for joining us today. We're not going to, they say belabor the time. We are going to get into our introduction of our amazing guest, and I'm so excited to have Onyx join us this morning. She is a powerhouse creative, a producer, writer, director, and advocate whose work is streaming on platforms like Peacock, Amazon, and Tubi. From true crime series to deeply personal films to reimagined stage productions, she tells the stories that heal, empower, and entertain. She's also the founder of Pink Lemonade, a breast cancer awareness initiative focused on communities of color, and is the co-founder of Obsidian Arts Collective. That's just a little bit about Onyx. She is literally Black excellence in motion. And so as we prepare to meet her, let's take a look at the trailer for her book, Facing It Together.
In the quiet moments of struggle, it's the little acts of kindness that speak volumes. It's the love of your family, and the support of a best friend brings warmth and comfort. Together, they find strength in each other. Guided by a resource that helps them navigate this journey. Find hope and strength. Facing it together. Faith, family, friendship, and how to fight with and for your loved one on their breast cancer journey. Because no one should face this journey alone.
Good morning, Onyx.
Hello, guys.
It's so wonderful to have you here. I'm glad I found that trailer because I had not known that you wrote this latest book. And so I want to put it up on screen, Facing It Together. And if you want to support Onyx and purchase this book, and I'm going to ask her to tell us a little bit about it. If you want to purchase this book, please head over to our website at www. Let me put it up here because I had it up here. There it is. www.withonyxkeesha.com. And so it's facing it together. I don't know why I put facing it alone, but you know it's facing it together because the book cover is right there. I will fix that. But thank you so much, Onyx, for all of who you are and all of what you do. Tell us, well, before we get into that, what are you sipping on? I didn't even ask you, Sha, what you sipping on this morning?
I'm actually pretty boring. I'm sipping on some water, but I do have a pretty mug.
Okay, okay. Sha, what you got in your cup?
Girl, I got some good old hot chocolate. It is so delicious.
Well, all of you know. Come on, hot chocolate. Well, if you've been following me long enough, you know I have coffee in my cup. But I want to shout out, we are the 92%. For my cup, we trust in Black women. I'm going to be drinking out this mug all month. We trust in Black women. Do me a favor, y'all who are watching. Tell me what you are sipping on out there in the chat. So, Onyx, tell us a little bit about this book.
Okay, so Facing It Together was really born out of my own breast cancer journey. And one thing that I realized was it's a journey for everyone who was in my life. And so I put this book together as a manual for the wives, the husbands, the best friends, the sisters who have someone in their life who is going through the battle, because oftentimes, you don't have the words. I did not have the words to express what I needed or what I was going through. I didn't even want to talk, about what the doctor said. So this is just a manual, a guide to help. And it's filled with my real life examples. I interviewed a bunch of women who have gone through this. And there's it breaks down what breast cancer is for Black women, how it hits us differently, and just how to show up and how to honor your own fear when you're going through it as someone who is, has someone in their life who's going through it, but also, how to honor the person who's going through it.
Oh, thank you so much for sharing that again. For Facing It Together. If you want to purchase that book and support Onyx today, head over to her website, withonyxkeesha.com. So your work, your wide breadth of work, Onyx, often centers on underrepresented voices, right? So in thinking about equity, what does fighting for equity look like to you through the lens of storytelling?
Man, it is about creating intentional spaces for those voices to be heard and showing the fullness, the full, complex, beautiful, tragic experience of these communities, whether it's, a focus on Black women, on the queer community, on the trans community, just those communities that are not represented, being able to share these stories in a way that is not characterization. And on top of that, equity in storytelling is also about who gets to tell the story. And a lot of times I think that is most important, because who is writing it, who's in the rooms, who is behind the camera. And for me, through my Studio Onyx, I am always offering programs for individuals to learn production, to learn script writing, to learn directing, because we don't have to wait for anyone to open the doors. We open our own doors, we build our own table, but we also want to make sure that we have the knowledge to be in the rooms where we are not, because that's how we're going to create our equity.
Oh, Jesus. Listen, I'm already putting this up because she's already preaching the word.
Too funny. I
Sha,
am
you have anything
tickled.
to add? Go ahead and add something, Sha.
Okay, well, one of the questions I want to ask you is, as a Black woman, creative, leading in the multiple spaces, how do you use your platform to challenge systems that weren't built with us in mind?
First of all, I am loud and proud without being loud. Just by existing, just by showing up, I in these spaces, I um send a message. But there are two instances that I can really think of. One is I was producing a very popular show, and there was this scene about so in the script it said this was a true crime show that they were on the porch braiding hair, right? And my team, which
Mm-hmm.
especially at that time was all white, all white women, right? They wanted to remove that part from the episode. And I had to really explain the cultural significance and what it means to make sure that we have this image of this young lady getting her hair braided outside on the porch because it helps show community. It helps show our culture. And so they filmed that and it was a part of the scene. And then another instance was I was doing an episode about a trans woman who was murdered. And I looked at all of my interviewees, I looked at all of my experts, and none of them I felt could really help to give context to what we were sharing. And so I went to my supervisors and I said, hey, we need a trans advocate because I need someone who has the language at the very least to help give context. And they granted me that. And now every episode that involves a trans murder has a trans advocate. So me using my platform inside, the industry is how I try to make little changes that really have big results.
Whew. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. And yeah, I've noticed, well, since you've been making film, because we see it all,
Mhm.
right? I've noticed how you really center, Black women, members of the LGBTQ plus community, trans individuals, you center them all. And so you're such a huge advocate. And so we are so grateful for you.
Thank
So,
you.
and I think you've already spoken to this, but can you tell little bit more about how you see art? How does art
Mm.
function as a tool for resistance and change?
I mean, not only is art healing, it is also a tool that blurs the lines that divide us. And I stand so firmly on if we focus on how we are alike, if we connect to the heart of each other, to the hurt of each other, that opens up an avenue for us to understand each other. And it doesn't matter whether you agree, you don't agree, you have really strong opinions. What matters is it humanizes us. And to me, that's what art does. Art is a tool that blurs those lines that divide us so we can at least be exposed to what other people are going through. And while I may not fully agree with or understand someone else's struggle, if I'm able to feel their emotions and see their tears and or feel their joy, it
Yeah.
allows me to not have so much hate in my heart for that community or that person.
Yeah. And before I hand it over to Shaw, I love that you talk about our humanness, right?
Mhm.
Because so
Yeah.
often, especially, when we are, for those of us in underrepresented communities, those of us in marginalized communities, it is hard to, because of the weight of that, it's really hard to see the humanity, right, in everyone else. And we pick things to kind of be like, okay, I don't like this. So, let me
Mhm.
lean into this thing I don't like, and let me push to the side a whole group of people because I don't like them. And so I know that you're a woman of faith, and for me, it is necessary to see the imago Dei, right? To see the image of God in every person, even those people we don't understand, and even those people we don't like, right? Because that is the only way that we will be able to move beyond all of our biases and truly be able to become this human family. So thank you so much for sharing that, Onyx. Sha, you have anything to add?
Yeah, well, no, not to that. I was just going to ask her another question,
Okay.
but you're right.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Are you ready?
Yes, yes, you're right.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Have you ever had to walk away from something that maybe you didn't honor, that didn't honor your values at all? And then, if you have, what did that teach you about alignment and self-worth?
Absolutely. There have been more times as I have gotten older and wiser that I have, decided to really not take on a project or walk away. But there was this, again, I was producing for a television show, and we needed to interview a woman who was in jail who murdered a man, right? And, I'm talking to her, I am prepping her, I am, getting her story. And one day she Jay paid me, because that's how we communicated. And she said, you know what? I don't want to do this show right now. My son, who was 3 when this happened, is about to graduate high school. And I don't want him to have to face any ridicule for what I did. Um, and she was like, we could do it later, we could do it another time, but he's already gone through so much. He was only 3. I go to my showrunner and I say, listen, we can't do this show. And I am so passionate about this. And her response to me was, well, she committed the crime. She doesn't get a say. And I was like, well, this is really not about her. We're talking about generations, right? And she's like, I understand, but we are still going to do the show. And I did not end up field producing that show because it was not something that really sat with me. And I thought that it was the end of my that part of my career. But then God blessed me, and I was hired on another show, Fatal Attraction, with the focus being on domestic violence. And I got to tell the stories now, not of the murderers, not murder centered, but the victims, the families. And even though they are murdered, it's about giving them a voice and healing people so they can also see, maybe I need to make a different decision. It's not just sensationalizing it. But when I had to walk away from field producing that other show, I really thought it was the end. But God had something more purposeful for me, because I do not like true crime. I do not like murder. But I love telling Black women's stories. And 90% of the work that I do on Fatal is telling Black women's stories, the nuances of those stories, talking to families, and God just really aligned me.
Yeah. Ooh, I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that, Onyx.
You're
Um,
welcome. I hope it's
and
not too long.
no,
I try to
no,
like
no,
censor
no, because
myself.
I'm kind of this sitting. I'm sitting in that moment right now because so often when we have to walk away from something or when a door closes, uh, we might feel that is the end. And
Yeah.
I'm sure all of us who are watching right now have been in that situation where something ended, right? And it's like that's it. There's nothing else. There's no other successes. I have reached the pinnacle. There's nothing else. And God will open a door, right?
Always,
And so it makes
always,
you think like, yeah, this was waiting for me in the wings all along, right? It was
always.
waiting for me
Mhm.
to arrive. It was waiting for me to meet up with it, right? But this other thing had to end. It had to, I had to be separated from this thing so I could get that thing. And that is,
Oh, you
listen,
don't know how you are preaching to me because I'm in a season right now and I am just sitting in expectancy because I know how God moves. I know.
yes, yes. Ooh, ooh, I
Well,
feel so good.
I'm a firm believer that everything happens for a reason. Every
Mhm.
single thing happens for a reason. Now, it may take us a minute to figure out what that reason is, but when we
Yeah,
do, we say, oh, okay. But
Yes.
typically, everything happens for a reason. There's a reason behind everything. There's a lesson for us to learn or something. So, yeah.
yeah, yeah. Nothing is wasted. Nothing is wasted. Everything is useful. So I'm so grateful for God, for God, the divine, however you see your higher power. I'm grateful that we can lean into the divine and see when those blessings like kind of come our way, to be able to recognize the blessings, because sometimes we
Yeah.
don't even recognize that it's a blessing, right? And so maybe the prayer should be, God, help me to recognize the blessing when it comes.
Mm, mm.
Maybe that should be the prayer.
Absolutely. Let me go on and pray that.
Help me to recognize it. Whew, all of you who are watching us, thank you again for joining us today. We are hanging out with the amazing Onyx Keesha, and she is blessing us today. She is the author of, amongst many other things. She's the author of Facing It Together and other works, but we're highlighting this one today. And if you would like to support her and purchase the book, please head over to our website at www.withonyxkeesha.com. www.withonyxkeesha.com. I think we are going to take a quick break just to do some housekeeping and for Onyx and Sha to take a sip of what they're sipping on. And we will be right back with more conversation with Onyx. Thank you again for joining us. I want to invite you to connect, follow, like, and subscribe. If you are on Facebook or Instagram, you can go ahead to Inspired with Sue W and follow us if you haven't done so already. If you or on YouTube. Make sure you follow us at Kara Solutions LLC. And we want you to head over to our website at www.getinspired.live. There you can catch all of our previous episodes. You can learn a little bit about the show, and you can also subscribe to our newsletter. We have some big things happening. We don't want you to miss a thing. So go ahead, connect, follow, like, and subscribe. Also, if are you or someone you know on a mission to create change while inspiring others to do the same, we want to hear from you. We want to hear from you. Join us in conversation on a future episode. So again, visit our website at www.getinspired.live to book your appearance on our website. You can fill out the form and book your own appearance on our show. And so we are so excited to hear from you. And I'm going to do this until Yanni gets a kidney. I'm going to do it until she gets a kidney. Our dear sibling, Yanni, Pastor Yanni, Peace Pastor, Reverend Yanni, however you know her, she needs a kidney donor. She's in search of potential donors who are fairly healthy who have the blood types A or O, the courage to commit to surgery and save her life. And she would love to share the safety measures with you. If you're interested in reaching Yanni and her family directly, you can email them at peacepeopleinc@gmail.com. That's peacepeopleinc@gmail.com. You can also head over to emerylivingdonor.org and fill out that survey and enter her name, Ayana Davis. Let's do this in community. Let's help her get a kidney. If you know any resources, of any programs that she can look into to help her and her family as they search for this kidney donor, please, please, please inbox us, inbox me, let me know so I can forward that information to her, or you can send that information to her directly at peacepeopleinc@gmail.com. Thank you again for joining us. We are going to get back into some more conversation with our amazing guest today, Onyx Keesha. Welcome back. Welcome back. Thank you, Onyx, again for joining us today in conversation. We're so excited to have you. Those of you who are watching, if you have a question for Onyx, please go ahead and post it in the chat. We want to make sure that she gets to respond to that question. And so Nikita said that your glasses are everything, Onyx.
Thank you.
So yes, if you have a question or comment that is for Onyx, we invite you to go ahead and post that question. So yes, you're a woman of faith, and faith shows up in your advocacy work, and especially how you support breast cancer survivors, right, through Pink Lemonade. Can you tell us a little bit more about Pink Lemonade and how your faith has shaped your journey?
Absolutely. So Pink Lemonade is my nonprofit organization that is focused on specifically Black women and breast cancer, because when you look at the statistics, there is a huge discrepancy in the survival rate for us. And a lot of times when we think about cancer, we're thinking about the little kid that we saw on the infomercials with the bald head, or we're thinking of our elder aunties or grandparents. We don't often see reflections of ourselves. And breast cancer is hitting us when we are in the prime of our career. They're hitting us when we're, pregnant. They're hitting us when we are in a space in life where we're not thinking about getting sick in that way. So I really wanted to show up and talk about it. Through my entire breast cancer journey, I was very vocal. I was always posting, always talking, always connecting, the good days and the bad days. I was showing up when I really did not want to show up, and I stood in the emotions of that. So Pink Lemonade is really about that showing up. We have a big award ceremony and brunch that we do every October. We honor those in the community who are on their journey, have thrived after, and we honor those who are no longer with us in October. But faith was so real in my journey, because when I was diagnosed, I did not have this idea like, oh, I'm going to beat it. Rather, I had this notion of whatever your will is, I am in agreement with it. And all I can do is make sure that I show up every moment and I'm listening to you through this. So it was such a faith walk for me, because I had no idea. And I remember this one time I came back from chemo, and I was, chemo is, I describe it as, it makes you feel like a shadow of yourself. Like I just was not connected to me, right? So I get through chemo, I'm not feeling well, and I have this heavy weight on me. And I was staying with a friend, and he was on the top story. And I went out to the balcony, and in that moment, seeing so much life happening below me, feeling like my life was over, I had this overwhelming feeling to just jump off the balcony. Um, and it was so strong. And I heard God say to me, no, cry it out. Don't do it. And I fought that voice. I was like, no, all the reasons why, nobody's gonna love me after, no one's gonna, I'm in pain, like all of these things. And I didn't. And I went in the bed and I cried for almost 24 hours. But what was born out of that was pink lemonade.
Cry it out.
Yeah. We got to be okay. We got to be okay with
Yeah.
our feelings. Like I say all the time, like fear it, face it, faith it. Like that is my thing. It's okay, whether it's fear, whether it's sadness, whether it's hopelessness, it's okay. But you have to face it, because the more you run from it, the bigger monster it becomes. But
Yes.
once you face it, you have everything you need to get through it. And that's faith. So I have been faithing it. I am still faithing it, through everything. So yeah, that's my story.
Listen to me. We could just pass the offering plate and open the doors of the church, because this is so good, so
Too
good. Sha, you
funny.
have anything to add? Go ahead.
Yes. Well, listen, as we honor Black Women's History Month, what legacy do you hope to leave behind for the next generation of storytellers and change makers?
Really, I hope that my life really amplifies faith, just doing it, being bold. And when I say bold, I don't mean loud. Like, it's so interesting because these words that I am are coming up for me now, like bold and loud and audacious. It's almost like what I'm saying is the opposite of that, but it's still bold. Like for instance, this 92%, because I'm repping 92%. This 92% is so bold,
Yeah.
but it's quiet.
Yeah.
And so I hope that the legacy that I leave is about being bold, standing in your truth, and telling those stories. Like, I have so many friends who are amazing. They do great work, they write great stories, but it dies. It dies on their bookshelf. It never makes YouTube. It never goes out. And so we have mastered the doing it. That's not the doing it I'm talking about. The doing it I'm talking about is sharing it out. Like as Black women, man, we walk in excellence. We got the do down. But when it comes to posting it, sharing it, marketing it, telling it, because we're so used to having to be humble or being humbled. We're so used to what comes with putting ourselves out there that we hide it. And I hope that my legacy is do not hide, because it doesn't matter whether I showed up with my hair growing back from chemo, or I had a premiere with a movie and the sound was bad, or if I wrote a story and it got bad reviews, I still do it. I still did it, and I'm going to continue to do it. That's what I want to be my legacy.
Listen, you're helping us today.
Right? Yes.
You're helping
Yes.
us. Don't hide it, right? And as you were talking about that, I was just like, man, how many projects, how many things have I started and not finished, or I finished but not shared it, right? And so you are helping us today. You're helping our listeners today. You are helping those who would catch this in the replay. So
Yes.
so grateful. So I
Yes.
want to talk about Black Joy,
Mm.
right? So it's an upcoming stage piece, and we talked about joy a little bit before we began, but why is joy such a necessary act of resistance and healing for Black women right now?
Man, first of all, when we talk about just putting it out there, my play Black Joy is one of those things where I have been struggling like about producing it, sharing it, talking about it, but and I feel like it's so interesting how God works because now we're talking about it. Now I'm telling the world, like, I wrote a play called Black Joy. It is a monologue styled play. Um, and I was thinking about the season that we're in. And there's this thing going on around TikTok. And it's like, uh, breaking news stories and all this stuff. And, Black people are learning new line dances. And I love seeing that because that is resistance. That is our protest. That is our power. That is it right there. And no, joy is not frivolous. It's not just, oh, I'm happy all the time. No, when joy is born out of struggle, out of pain, when it's joy despite of, joy even though, when it's that joy, which is the Black experience, that is the resistance. That is the resistance. And so the play is about that. It is not just all these happy stories. It is how we find joy in everything that we do. And we're still going to have joy. We're still going to praise. We're still going to learn to line dance. We're still going to laugh. We're still going to love because people want to take that from us. The enemy wants to take that from us. But when we show that you cannot, that is our power. That is our resistance.
Whew, Jesus. And anyway, I'm feeling just thinking back about of course we don't know the full extent. We know the horrors that our slave ancestors experienced, and that's probably just the surface, right? We don't know it all. But
Right.
those songs that they
Right.
sang in the field,
Right.
right?
Right.
You know, fatigued from the hot sun, bones aching, some breaking, some of them without limbs because they tried to. As they worked, right, on those plantations, as they suffered those that horrific treatment, they sang songs, right? Singing a
Yes.
song in a strange land, right? Because that is, and I believe that that's how they tapped into their joy. Those songs weren't just messages, right? They weren't just messages, but it was a way for them to tap in to the thing that's inside. Like you're right, Onyx. No one can take it away. They tried to take it away.
Right. And there is there's message in the joy.
Yeah.
There's joy in the message. The first when we first got into this administration, okay, I was so angry. When I tell you, even my wife was like, "I've never seen you like this." I was angry. I was closed in. I was bitter. I was boycotting everything. If I saw somebody, I would assume that they're MAGA, and I was rude. Like, I was all of those things. And I realized that is what they want. That is what they want. Because my life was being impacted because of what was going on. And I was no longer experiencing joy in my life. I was so hurt. I was so angry. And once I changed that switch and I'm unbothered, doesn't mean I'm uneducated. It doesn't mean I'm not connected. It doesn't mean that I'm not aware. I'm not unaware. However, I'm unbothered. And that is way more powerful, because if you're walking by me with a MAGA hat and I do not give you the reaction that you want, now you're bothered.
That's it. That is it. We wrapping up, child, because because we'll be here another hour. Just
I know, right? I was
into
like,
your
I don't
wisdom
want to
today,
disrupt.
Onyx. So looking ahead, tell us what's next. Tell us, what you got going on. Any projects other than Black Joy, because we know we just talked about Black Joy. Anything else coming up? How can we support you in
Yeah.
your journey?
I'm definitely in a pivot season right now. And my pivot is really figuring out how to make greater impact. So my future, it just is very free right now. I'm so open. I'm excited about what God could possibly be working out on my behalf right now. But I did complete a movie called Wish, which is about 5 teenagers who are going through everything from depression and suicide and abuse, and how love and friendship is what gets them through. I'm going to be premiering that in June, and my business partner and I are also working on a film called Duplicity, and we actually signed on an actor who is very known in our community. So I'm so excited about that. I can't wait to announce it. And I'm doing my theater. I am in production for the Colored Museum, which is an advocacy piece that goes up in June, and working on some other things. So that's what's immediately happening. But I'm in a pivot. I'm so free right now.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom today. Thank you for carving out some time to hang out with us and inspire. We look forward to all of the amazing things that you are birthing. And we pray that whatever your hand touches,
Amen.
whatever's in your heart, all those gifts, all those things, that they will come to fruition. That they will come to fruition. I think Sha might be frozen.
Amen.
She might be frozen, but yeah, I pray that is all successful, and anything that we can do to support you, please, please, please don't hesitate to reach out and let us know. And I would love to have you back on another episode
Absolutely.
to talk about,
Yes.
because that wish thing. I need you to we need to talk about that. And I hope. But where's the premiere going to be? Do you know?
It's going to be in Atlanta.
Okay. All right. All right.
Yep. It's going to be in Atlanta.
Looking forward to that. All of you. Oh, listen, the people on Instagram are just shouting you out. Oh my goodness.
Oh.
Hey, IG family.
Listen, they're shouting you out. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you for joining us on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on YouTube, and on Instagram. We are so grateful that you're hanging out with us as we celebrate Black Women's History Month in this April. And listen, if you missed some of it, I want to invite you to go back and go back on YouTube, go back on Facebook, and watch it from the beginning, because this powerful woman right here dropped some nuggets, and truly, truly blessed us today. Thank you again for being here. We look forward to seeing you again next week. And until then, I want you to stay lifted. I want you to stay motivated. And most of all, I want you to stay inspired. We'll see you again next week.